sea of blank faces. Yes, we have a state dinosaur here in New Jersey. That dinosaur is called the Hadrosaurus Folkii. In 1858, there was a farmer down in a town called Haddonfield, New Jersey. He was digging on his farm in a marl pit. You guys all know what marl is, right?
No.
This is marl. About 100 million years ago, right where everyone here is sitting, there was a giant, shallow inland sea. Just teeming with prehistoric life, right on the brink of extinction. There was this inland sea right where we're all sitting right now. But that sea's no longer here. And how do we know that this sea existed? We know it existed because this stuff right here, this is called marl. 100 million years ago, this was the bed of an ancient sea. Can you touch that for me? You are touching 100 million years of New Jersey history. This could be the same sand that a mother plesiosaur laid her eggs in all those years ago. You guys see how it's green like that? The reason why it is green is because all the plants and the algae, they would die and sink to the bottom and decompose. And when they did that, they left behind all these really good nutrients. So this soil is great for growing crops, which is why a farmer would be trying to dig some up. Who's ever heard New Jersey referred to as the Garden State? Yeah,
raise your hand.
The Garden State because this stuff right here, because it's so
New Jersey's called the Garden State.
And this is why New Jersey's called the Garden State. So this farmer, he's digging right in this marl pit, and what do you think he finds? He finds dinosaur bones. He finds so many dinosaur bones that his discovery reaches the attention of the paleontologists across the border in Philadelphia at the Academy of Natural Sciences. They come to his farm, and when they look at the ground, they notice something. They noticed that for the first time in recorded human history, someone had found enough bones of a single dinosaur. They were able to take the bones and put the dinosaur on display in a museum. So they brought all these bones back to the museum, started putting it together. They had the tail, and the legs, and the spine, and the rib cages, and the arms, and the neck, and they put it all together, and they realized that this dinosaur was missing a head. Who wants to see a dinosaur without a head? That's weird, right? Yeah, so they figured they're going to go down to the basement and we're going to find all the skulls that don't have bodies. And we're going to take these skulls and we're going to mix and match until we find the skull that we think best looks like what this dinosaur's head probably looked like. So I want to play a game with you guys right now. What we're going to do is you're all going to pretend to be those 19th century paleontologists. And I'm going to show you a couple skulls, and you're going to judge and tell me which one you think belongs on the dinosaur in what I am calling the first ever, or actually third today, dinosaur skull beauty pageant. Who thinks they're ready for that? You guys excited for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, one person in the corner? Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's get ready.
No.
Okay, this is the first skull. This is skull number one. Now, our state dinosaur, the Hadrosaurus Folkii, is a herbivore, which means it ate plants. Now, plant-eating dinosaurs and most plant-eating animals have big, flat teeth. This skull right here has got big, flat teeth, so this must be a herbivore skull, right, Kira?
I think so.
Yeah, so if this is a herbivore skull, there we go. We can just throw this on top of the Hadrosaurus, and that'd be good enough, right? But not so fast, because if you guys go around the park, which I'm sure you have at this point, you see the herbivores, the Apatosaurus, the Ankylosaurus with his little walnut-sized brain. Typically, herbivores have skulls that proportionally are a little bit too small for the rest of their body. So the scientists would have thought that a skull like that would have been too big for a 25-foot dinosaur, and they would probably have wanted to use something more like this. See, the skull's a little bit small, a little bit more proportionally sound for a dinosaur of that size, but as you can see, it also still has those big, flat, herbivore teeth. So something like this would totally work as well. But you guys know how games like this work, right? There's door number one, door number two, and always door number three. So I have to show you guys the third skull. This one right here was discovered in the 1970s in Montana by a paleontologist by the name of Jack Horner. We all, of course, know who Jack Horner is, correct?
No.
Okay, has anybody here ever seen the movie Jurassic Park?
Me.
Yeah, 3 or 4 kids have seen the wildly popular movie Jurassic Park. Yeah, you guys have seen Jurassic Park? Yes, well, next time you guys are watching Jurassic Park, feel free to spool through those credits, because there's a man in there by the name of the paleontological consultant, and his name is Jack Horner. So that means that when Steven Spielberg wanted to know what dinosaurs looked like, and sounded like, and how they walked, and how they moved, and what they ate, he went and talked to Jack Horner. So Jack Horner's a pretty smart guy. But you're probably wondering, what does a dinosaur skull discovered by Jack Horner in the 1970s in Montana have anything to do with a dinosaur found in New Jersey in the 1850s? Well, I'll tell you right now, guys. This skull right here, when Jack Horner found it, he looked at the rest of the bones of this dinosaur, and he realized that the bones of this dinosaur were nearly identical to the bones of the Hadrosaurus falci. So Jack Horner thought, if they put this skull on top of the Hadrosaurus, it would be much closer representation to what the Hadrosaurus skull actually looked like. So now I'm going to ask you guys, it's time to judge. Which skull do we think belongs in the Hadrosaurus? Do we think it's skull number 1?
No.
No.
I'll take your silence. There we go, some no's. I'll take the rest of your silence as a resounding no. Skull number 2?
No.
No.
Still a lot of no's. What about skull number 3?
Yes.
Yeah? You know what? You guys are right. This skull right here belongs to a fellow hadrosaurid, or a cousin of the Hadrosaurus. This dinosaur's name was Maiasaura. For those of us out there who are ancient Greek aficionados, we all know that Maiasaura means the good mother lizard. And the reason why the Maiasaura is called the good mother lizard is because the Maiasaura was the first dinosaur ever discovered with evidence of nesting. They found this dinosaur next to littler dinosaurs, next to babies, with eggs and nests, and thanks to Maiasaura, we now know that dinosaurs, just like birds, nested and cared for their young. If anyone thought skull number 2 was right, but was too shy to say so, well, don't worry, because you're not wrong. For 110 years, before we found the Maiasaura, this was the skull they used on top of the Hadrosaurus. This skull right here belongs to a fellow semi-bipedal herbivore by the name of Iguanodon. Has anybody ever heard of Iguanodon before? No. He's the guy with the big thumb spikes, right? Some people call him the hitchhiker dinosaur. I like to say he looks like Fonzie, but most of you are way too young to get that reference. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Hey, yeah, Fonzie. So that's Iguanodon, and this guy over here, Miss Congeniality for our contest, going with lovely parting gifts, a year's supply of rice-a-roni and all the turtle wax you'll ever need. This right here belongs to a large sauropod by the name of Diplodocus. When you guys were up the trail, you saw a guy with a long neck and a long tail. His name with 4 legs, his name was Apatosaurus. Those dinosaurs, those long-necked dinosaurs, they're called sauropods. Diplodocus was a fellow sauropod. Diplodocus actually is the dinosaur that to date we have discovered with the longest tail we have ever found. And some scientists think as a form of defense, Diplodocus would crack his tail like a whip, so fast, in fact, that like a whip, his tail could break the sound barrier and make a cracking noise. How about a round of applause for all my wonderful judges and all of my wonderful dinosaur skulls, without whom there would be no found in New Jersey. Yes, excellent. Clap it for the inanimate objects. They're wonderful, aren't they? All right, guys, let's look at some more fossils. Let's go back in time for a little bit. Let's go back to 400 million years in the past. Dinosaurs came on the scene about 225 million years ago. This is 175 million years before dinosaurs even existed. Where we're all sitting right now in New Jersey, this was all underwater 400 million years ago. So if we were looking for fossils that were found in New Jersey 400 million years ago, what do you guys think we would find?
Crustaceans.
Does anybody know fish fossils? Anyone know what kind of fossils we find 400 million years ago?
Crustaceans.
Let me tell you, 400 million years ago, we can find man-eating, primeval squid, killer, behemoth, clams, and of course, cute and cuddly little baby sharks. Oh, isn't that adorable? Yeah, guys, 400 million years ago, there was no life on the surface of the Earth. Everything alive on this planet 400 million years ago, it all lived in the water. Sharks are older than dinosaurs. They're older than us. They've been here long before we've gotten here, and nature willing, they'll be here long after we're gone. They've gotten a little more streamlined, a little smaller. There's no more megalodon big enough to fit me inside of his mouth standing up. But they're still here. Sharks are awesome. We love sharks. Sharks are living fossils. But we're in a dinosaur park. You guys want to know about dinosaurs as cool as sharks are. We want to talk about dinosaur fossils, right? So I should probably show you a dinosaur fossil, yeah? Well, I'm going to show you guys this right here. in the 1970s, found right here in New Jersey, a young boy was walking in a quarry near his house when he discovered this right here. This is a footprint. This is called the Ubrontis. We have never once, not once ever, found any bones of this dinosaur. We found footprints from here all the way out to Massachusetts, so we know this guy existed. Now, when this young boy found this fossil, he wrote a letter to the president because he was so excited he had found this fossil. And he said, Mr. President, found a fossil. I am so proud of my fossil, in fact, that I think we should preserve this quarry where I found it, so that children like myself and paleontologists alike can come here and dig and look for dinosaur bones and fossils. And what do you guys think the president said?
Okay.
He did. The president said yes, and to this day, guys, you can go to the Walter Kidda Dinosaur Park and perhaps even get permission to dig and look for dinosaur bones and fossils. But if you guys want to find fossils, I should show you what fossils look like in real life, huh? Because this right here is a plastic bowl. But this, I am about to pull out of my magical mystery box, is a 100% real life, actual, factual dinosaur fossil. This right here is a real footprint of a very real dinosaur found right here in New Jersey called Coelosaurus. Does anyone know why the Coelosaurus footprint is all bumpy like this and not an indentation like the Ubrontis? You know?
Hold on, honey.
Well, I'll tell you why. Everyone ever been to the beach or walk through the mud and you leave a big footprint? Well, dinosaurs did that too. And they were much bigger and heavier than we are, with bigger, wider feet, and they left big, deep footprints in the mud. And over time, these muddy footprints, they would fill up with sand and sediment and ore and minerals and rocks, and they would turn into a big stone like this.
Wait,
and when the mud would wash away, what it would leave behind is the inversion of a footprint. So if you touched this right here, you'd be feeling exactly what the Coelosaurus footpad felt like. Maybe not quite as hard as this rock, but exactly what it felt like, and exactly what the bottom of Coelosaurus' foot would have looked like. You make something like this by taking this and pushing it down into plaster. So if you're ever looking for dinosaur fossils out in the wild, you do not want to look for indentations. You want to look for bumps. What are you guys going to look for?
Bumps.
Bumps. Yeah, you guys are ready. I got one more fossil I want to show you guys, and this is arguably the most important fossil we have here at the field station. 3 or 4 years ago, out on Route 46 in Clifton, New Jersey, some construction workers were digging. They were building apartment buildings, and they needed to open up the ground to lay the foundation. When they dug this big hole, they found a bunch of weird-looking rocks and stones they thought might be dinosaur fossils. So they called the paleontologists over at the New Jersey State Museum in Trenton and got them to come down to their site. When those paleontologists got there, what they found shocked them. It was the largest collection of bones and fossils found in one place in the last 100 years of New Jersey's history. Now, these paleontologists asked the construction workers, can we please have 2 weeks just to dig out and get as much of these fossils out of here so we can bring them back to the museum and study them? Because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there is no law or rule that states construction workers have to stop digging if they find dinosaur fossils. They've got deadlines to meet, they can just keep on plowing through. But these construction workers were so nice that not only did they decide to let those paleontologists dig for those 2 weeks, but they put the work on hold and decided to help them. And for 2 weeks, they were deputized as deputy paleontologists who here would like to quit school or work for 2 weeks and dig up dinosaur bones instead. I should probably see every single one.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, so they got all those bones and fossils out of that site and brought them back to the New Jersey State Museum, except for one of those fossils. I'm betting you can guess which one it is.
The one in his hand. That one?
And I love this fossil because this fossil brings the story of our state dinosaur, the Hadrosaurus, full circle. Because to this day, we have never found a Hadrosaurus skull. Still on that skeleton sits a Maiasaurus skull, but we have found, as you can see embedded in this rock, a Hadrosaurus jawbone. This is a 100% real jawbone of our state dinosaur, the Hadrosaurus volkii. Now, does anyone think they know, over the course of its entire lifetime, how many teeth a Hadrosaurus would go through? How many teeth does this dinosaur have over its whole lifetime? Does anyone think they know? Think they know? Just shout it out if you know.
Mommy.
60.
Mommy, can we win?
2,000. That's not very high, I guess. 60,000. That's crazy. 100. Price is Right rules. Close without going over. 16. 17. 101.
You want to guess? Guess.
For
Make a
one
guess.
You're gonna waste your bid. Anyone? No?
Take a
Okay, I'm
guess.
gonna tell you.
How many teeth do you think he had?
400. The Hadrosaurus fossils at its lifetime would have over 3,000 teeth. All packed in his mouth, like bristles on a toothbrush, and when one would fall out, it would be immediately replaced with another. That means if I went around and took all of the teeth out of all of your mouths and piled them in a big old pile at my feet on the floor, aside from probably being the weirdest guy ever and definitely getting fired, I would have nowhere near enough teeth to match that of just one Hadrosaurus. Also, little known fact, guys, the Hadrosaurus fossils would go through over 300 yards of dental floss a day. You know, guys, but that's what I love about New Jersey. Because if you're out in Montana, or the Gobi Desert in China, or the Badlands in South Dakota, and you're looking for dinosaur fossils, you are probably a professional paleontologist with a crew, and tools, and funding, and a degree in paleontology. But right here in New Jersey, we have a long and proud history of finding dinosaur fossils totally 100% by accident. Farmers, construction workers, even little kids.
Mommy.
So what that says to me is if you want to be a paleontologist, the only thing you need to do is go out dig, you know? Don't dig in your backyard, you know, go to your neighbors. But see what you can find. Go out there and try to find some fossils. I just want you to promise me two things. Number one, if you find something you think might be a fossil, take it somewhere to someone who knows what they're looking at. Bring it to a paleontologist, bring it to a museum, show it to someone, because you may have found something really important. Number two, if you find a fossil, and you bring it to a paleontologist, and they tell you, wow, this is actually really important. You might want to keep this so we can study this. Where did you find this? That's when I want you to remember the show. I want you to look that paleontologist square in the eye, stand up loud and proud and say it was found in...
My driveway.
Maybe we can try that one more time. It was found in... New Jersey. All right, excellent. Thank you guys so much for coming to Found New Jersey. My name is Anthony. Please stick around. There's another show coming up after this. I don't know what it is. Feel safe.